So this is the big test now. Will the car charge from our inverter and battery? I'm a little bit scared to plug this in. 3, 2, 1. And welcome back to another video here from the off-grid garage with the final well, this is the major test, right? This is the major test now. Will the Tesla charge from our inverter and battery? Do-it-yourself build battery, solar power. Everything is already plugged in. The inverter is already turned on. Battery is ready. We are at 67% state of charge. So we are now in the car. I have turned down the charging current to 5 amps. Maximum is 12 amp we can charge here at home. The battery is fairly empty. I left it like this from yesterday, so we can charge from solar here today for the test. Unable to charge, charging station not powered. That is absolutely correct. 5 amps we will start with. The UMC is plugged in. And well, the inverter was on standby, well, since yesterday basically. Now just want to show you the standby temperature of the inverter. 40 degrees, 39, 37. So 40 degrees is 103 Fahrenheit. So it's fairly warm actually, the inverter. And let's measure inside the battery here as well. Just on the board, 29, BMS 32. Smart shunt 30, fuses, cables. Let's quickly measure some batteries here. 24 is the battery, 26. So around 24 degrees is the battery temperature at the moment. We just measure the workbench to get the ambient temperature. 31 degrees, 87. So around 30 degrees outside. Inverter has already 40 just by idling. So it gets really warm when idling. And I would say without further delay, let's turn on the charger. Inverter is on. We've got a green light. Because I have scheduled charge start programmed. When I turn this off, it will start charging immediately. 5 amps. Alright, you can see the voltage there, 240. We get 1 out of 8. 8 is the maximum with this plug. 5 amps. So we are charging with 5 amps at the moment. 240 volts. It is working. Oh my god. That is insane. It is working. Got a green light there. It is charging. Guys, we are charging the vehicle from the inverter and the do-it-yourself battery from our solar. This is mind-blowing. Okay, this is our shunt. So we are discharging at the moment with 700 watts from solar, from the battery. But we've got full sunshine outside, so I'm sure, yeah, the solar delivers the other 600 watts, half from the battery, half from the solar at the moment, and it works just fine. It works. I cannot believe it. It's charging. It's charging. 6 kilometers per hour only, but you know. But again, as per my previous video, this is only because I've got this link here in between. If I take this link away, the charger will definitely stop immediately because there's a safety issue then. Okay, then let's do it. Let's ramp up the amps. 8 amps. Alright, so we are pulling 1460 from the battery plus 600 from solar. I probably turn off solar now because we want to charge the car solely from battery. So if I turn this one off now, we should see ramping this one up. There we go, 2 kilowatts. So this is the same load as the vacuum cleaner. Just charging the car, that's insane. 8 amps. Okay, let's go to 9. 2200 watts. Okay, I go to 10. This is now 40 amps out of the battery. 0 solar. This is purely battery powered. Okay, 10 amps. 2500 watts, 11 amps, 2700 watts, 800. Okay, let's do the 12 amps maximum setting. One more step. 12. 3075 watts we are pulling. That is insane, right? This is purely from the battery now. Their solar is turned off. This is purely from the battery. Just keep in mind, this one is a 10 amp circuit breaker in here. So it will warm up now because we are charging with 12 amp and eventually trip. This has nothing to do with our battery or something. This is just a safety switch. This is an Australian thing. I don't want to go down this path at the moment. Okay, let's have, oh, 40 degrees it was before. 34, it has cooled down. It has cooled down, guys. The inverter got 6 degrees cooler. Temperature is going down because the fans are now on. Nah, this is just hand warm. 36 coming out of there. So this is not heating up at all. All right. Let's have a look here at our BMS. This is where the relay sits. 33. Nothing. Batteries. 26. 26, 27, 26. Okay, the hot air is coming in now. It was cooler with the lid closed. Smart shunt. 31. 32 here on the fuse. 34. Well guys, this is overload now. This is only a 3 kilowatt inverter. So this is the maximum speed we can charge with the UMC. I'm very, very impressed. Yeah, it is charging. 237 volt. I'm not sure where they measure, but this should be entrance of the car. 18 kilometers per hour. Well, usually I'm not in a hurry charging the car, so I plug it in when I come home, but the charging does not start before midnight. And then it usually takes around 3 to 5 hours, depending on the state of charge of the battery. And then it's ready in the morning again when I need it for work. So I don't really care how long it takes to charge because it's plugged in for at least 10 hours anyway. And I usually charge only with 10 amp here from the power point during the night, which is 2.4 kilowatts. But this is impressive. This is running now for quite a few minutes. We are still pulling 3080 watts. 60 amps we are pulling. 60 amps coming from the battery. Okay, I'll just want to see if I can feel any heat somewhere. Oh, here. Yep, this one is a little bit warm. Yeah, they are all cold, metal cold. Oh, even the cable here gets a bit warm. Okay, most negative, this is all cold. So here number 14, this is our only one. Let's measure this one first, 31. And this one has 34, it's a bit warmer. Okay, I need to check this connection here. Everything else seems to have the same temperature. This is all cold. It feels cold. So no problem there at all. This cable is not warm. Why is this one warm? It's an 8mm ring terminal here. That's one of the good ones. Have you got the dodgy crimping here? I'm not sure what's going on there. I found it. 48 degrees has the fuse. The fuse is creating a lot of heat at 50 amps already. And this is why this is all warm. This is not one of my connections here, this is just a fuse. Interesting. Almost 50 degrees, which is 120 Fahrenheit. Yeah, the terminal is getting colder to the outside, but the fuse itself is heating up. I mean, it makes sense, you know, you've got only this little metal stripe there in between, which carries 50 amps now, and this is of course heating up because the resistance is fairly high. Yeah, I wonder what the voltage drop is across the fuse. This is 55 millivolts. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is good or bad. Let's have a quick measurement here on the shunt. The shunt is only 6. Okay, so what I will do now is I will measure the voltage drop across the bus bars. And I'm going to measure directly from the terminal of the battery to the other terminal of the battery. So it's peeking out a little bit from the side, so I can just put in my probe here on the terminal of the battery and here on the other side as well. 5.66 millivolt voltage drop. 2.9. 18. Jeez. 6, 8, 18 as well. Wow. 10. There was one which was really good, wasn't it? Here, 2.8. Why is this one so good and the other so bad? 3 point something. So I'm not sure. People have talked about this before on under my videos and said, well, are you going to polish and grind down and sand down the terminals to make them really smooth and everything? And I said, no, I'm not doing any of this shit. I just connect the bus bars and we are done, and then, you know, charge the car from it. But obviously there is a difference if the terminal is correctly plain or not. So I have to disconnect the load at some stage, disconnect the battery and have a look at these terminals if they are a little bit uneven. I've seen from measuring, from poking the probe inside the terminal in the aluminium, there are some craters or something in there, scratches, you know. This all could lead to a little bit of higher resistance when you screw down the bus bars, and could have, well, as a result you get this higher voltage drop, I guess. So I have to have a look at this as well. I'm not sure if this is normally 11 millivolts or something, but I'll have a look later. Interesting. Alright. 37 degrees only. That is alright. And it's overloading at the moment. It is still running with 3040 watts, 60 amps. We are pulling directly from the battery without solar. That is so cool. I would not keep this one running if I'm not here. This is overloading the inverter and far too much power for the whole system. I would probably dumb this down to really 8 or 10 amps only. Oh, we've got a beep from the inverter. Overloading maybe, overheating, I don't know, but it's not hot. It's actually cooler than before. Oh, well, it gets a bit hot here now. 41. Okay, let's lower the current inside the car. This is not how I would charge. There was another beep. What is beeping? Well, we're running this for about 15 minutes now, and I think the inverter beeps from time to time. I think it's realizing it getting too hot or overloading. This is where the MOSFETs are connected to the case, and it's pretty cool actually. Yeah, and the heat is, yeah, that's the inverter, definitely the inverter which beeps. Well, we are overloading it for 15 minutes, but it's doing it. It's not causing any issues or so, but I'm lowering the current now to 10 amps. This is what I usually charge the car with. This should be around 2.5 kilowatts or something. Yeah, 2.5 kilowatts. This is a safe power for the inverter as well. I probably would charge it only with 8 or 9 amps even. Yeah, let's turn it down to 8 amps. Yeah, I think 8 amps is good. That's 2 kilowatts now. That's the same as the vacuum cleaner we tried. This is 40 amps. And perfect. Car is charging from the battery, and I think this should be safe. Let's see how the temperatures are doing now after a while of charging on 2 kilowatts only. Oh, it's going down already here. It's cooling down. Yeah, I think it will be much happier like this. Well, this is the fuse again, 52 degrees. I'm not happy with this situation here at all. 50 degrees is far too hot. So many of you want me to change the fuse anyway to a class T. So I'll have a look at the Blue C, what is it called? Blue C, I think, the company. Well, I have a look at another fuse. I don't like this situation with this hot fuse inside here. This is 50 degrees. Everything else stays cool. Really, the bus bars are cool. Apart from this one terminal, but it's not like super hot or something. It's a bit warmer than the rest. And this is all warming up. Yeah, this cable is warm, this cable is cold. And this is only because of the fuse. So the copper cables are guiding the heat away from the fuse now into the cables. That's why they heat up. Cold. Cold. Yeah, this is all cold. There's nothing happening here on the switch. Cool. Nice. This is a tiny bit. We have here 37 we have on the shunt. BMS 35. 36. Alright guys, I'll leave the car charging with 2 kilowatts now for a while, and probably I come back in an hour and measure the temperatures again so we can compare them. I should probably write them down, so otherwise I don't know them anymore. So we've got 36 here, 40, see it's cooling down now, it's coming down. So 40 degrees is the hottest here. I can probably remember that. Alright, see you in an hour. Okay, we still got around 40 degrees on the surface of the inverter. Outside temperature is about 33 this afternoon, so it is already fairly warm or fairly hot in here inside the garage. But so far everything works just fine. I have just checked the BMS and we have got 3 cells which are under 3 volts already. And I measured the voltage here. Yep, BMS is correct. So we have to turn off the inverter now, or even slow down the charging at least, to protect these batteries before the BMS actually kicks in. Well, I could actually try, huh? And the smart shunt says we've got 38% state of charge still. I'm not sure how good this calibrated is already. So what I have done now is I have bridged, or I've paralleled the 2 strings on the roof to get more solar power in here. We've got now 1.2 kilowatts of solar coming in. I hope the 2.5 is alright. Yeah, still testing everything here on the workbench. So, alright, shall we see if the BMS kicks in actually at 2.5? We are not too far away. 2.766, cell number 6. This one. And other cells are still on 3.1. That's insane. That's such a big difference. We've got 2.52. So cell number 6 should trigger now. There we go. 2499. And it turned off just for a second. But now it turned back on. Why is it turning on again? Because the voltage is rising straight away because the charger is kicking in. But it has turned off, you could hear it. There again. Once more. Well, we are charging with 700-800 watts now with the 2 strings. I probably turn off the charger and the solar. And we go back in the BMS, so it should stay off now. Yes, turned off, stays off. 2.522. Voltage is rising, but the inverter is off, charging of the vehicle is off, everything is off. I'm not sure what the recovery voltage actually is to turn this whole thing back on. I think 2.7 or so, parameter settings. Yep, under voltage release 2.7. So 2.5 is turning off, and 2.7 the relay will turn on again. So it will wait until this one is at 2.7, and then it turns on the BMS again. Alright, let's turn on the charger. Battery. So in theory, if I turn on the charger again now, the solar charger, it should not do anything because the BMS is off, so it should not charge actually. Enable charger, because the negative is interrupted through the BMS now. Ah, it actually kicks in again. So it senses the voltage from the solar charge controller and turns back on again. That is fantastic. That is so cool. Alright, so there's no load here anymore. Yeah, the Tesla is off. And we are now just recharging the battery, but the inverter is still cooling down or so. Yeah, and we've got no connection to the smart shunt anymore if the BMS is off, because the smart shunt is the second device in the row. This one is first, and then it turns off the smart shunt and the load. So we lost all the data now. History, yep, everything is... No, it's not. Ah, probably it is. No, it's not. Synchronizations, discharge energy, charge energy. No, all the information is still here. You know why? This is because if the BMS is turned off, it still leaves this little current going through the BMS, probably through this ceramics resistor inside, and supplies enough energy to the smart shunt. How smart is that? So I'm just wondering, even we haven't reached the 2.7 volt here for this cell. The BMS has already kicked in again after it sensed that the charge controller wants to charge. After this one supplied power to the battery, but the BMS was off, the BMS turned on and let the charge controller charge the battery. Is this a smart feature? But you have seen the recovery voltage is 2.7 and we haven't reached it yet. Okay, so we are charging now with 4.5 amps only. Yeah, and here of the protection information of the BMS, we can see the cell under voltage times 4 times it has reached that. That was the 4 times when the BMS turned off for a second, but then realized there's still energy coming from the charge controller and it turned back on. But this happened 4 times. So there's the counter. Everything else is 0, but this happened 4 times now. And we are slowly recharging the whole pack. Very interesting. That is so cool. This all seems to work just fine. Yeah, so in theory we should get around 22, 23 amps now from the solar panels, because we've connected both strings now, and this should be 1200, 1300 watts now. Amazing. So we charged almost 30 kilometers into the car in 1.5 hours, just from the battery and solar together. That is amazing. That is so cool. 30 kilometers pure renewable energy in the battery of the car now. Self-made. We made this ourselves. That is so amazing. I can't believe it. Alright guys, I think we leave it as it is for the moment. I'll recharge the battery now from the solar and do some more testing before we put this all in. This was so exciting, right? To charge actually the Tesla from the solar and battery today. It has just worked fine. The inverter seems to work just fine. It holds the power even if it's overloaded with over 3000 watts. And it only beeped after 15 minutes or so a couple of times, but it still supplied the 3 kilowatts for the first 15 minutes. So I'm really impressed with this inverter, I must say. Yeah, and another fantastic test here in the off-grid garage with a self-built battery, 48 volt, 15 kilowatt hours, and the Xia Pure Sine Wave, it's called apparently. 3 kilowatt inverter supplied the power to the Tesla vehicle and charged it just fine. And we also have tested the BMS, which actually turned off once one cell reached 2.5 volts. So this is all working as designed, and it also turns itself back on once the solar charge controller delivers energy to the battery, and again in the morning. This is all working fully automatically. No need to change anything of this at the moment. And guys, please leave your comments down below if you have polished or cleaned or sanded down your terminals to make them really smooth and clean them up. I haven't done anything, and I'm getting these voltage drops as you have seen in this video here. I'm not sure if this is normal or if they are too high or something, so please leave your comments and advice down below. As always, I will follow all your tips, of course. So start riding. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Another very exciting moment here in the Off-Grid Garage. I'm super happy, and well, we keep testing, right? Until the next video, stay charged, stay safe, and we see us then. Thanks again for watching. Bye bye.